Herzlich willkommen zur nächsten Episode von der Novelist. Wir fokussieren uns weiter aufs Leben von Dan und Tommy und wie gesagt, im letzten Mal Linda, fuck off. Ja, was haben wir denn hier? Neuer Brief. Zack. Whether your child enjoys arts and crafts, swimming, sports, recreation, singing or exploring, they're sure to have a ball at Camp Emerald Lake. We know that every family has unique needs and we strive to be as flexible as possible. Daily, weekly and monthly packages are available in both sleepover and pickup options. Our lifeguards are fully certified and every counselor is trained in the cutting-edge cardiopulmonary technique. Our goal is fun, but our priority is safety. The enclosed brochure contains information on all the exciting opportunities at Camp Emerald Lake. We're sure you'll find many things to like and we hope to see your child soon. Nein, macht das nicht, schickt das nicht. Ja, wobei. Das ist ein bisschen langweilig. Wobei ich einen Freund das Wochenende kann, aber trotzdem, du hast keine anderen Kinder. Ja, ich glaube, es wäre keine schlechte Idee, wenn er den Tee geht. Ist ja nicht abschieben, sondern wirklich gut für ihn. Und, was meinst du, Tommy? Ah, wir können seinen Kollegen öfter sehen, okay. Was steht da? Schau an. Ich zeige jetzt genau drauf. Genau, und es leuchtet nicht. Ja, jetzt, scheiß Steuerung. Da komm.
I called the co-op today. It isn't wildly expensive, but it sure doesn't fit into the budget. It was a bigger letdown than I thought, not being able to just sign up on the spot. It gets so lonely here sometimes. And I think Tommy's starting to feel it too. We try to play with him every day, and the woods here are pretty magical for someone his age. But kids need to be around other kids sometimes. He can only play with his cars so often. Sometimes I wish there were actual neighbors here. The only friend he's made is Davy, but seeing them at the park once in a while isn't the same as having someone to pal around with every day. It's summer vacation and he's pretty much all alone.
Ja, wegen dem Camp, gute Idee. So typisch amerikanisch gibt es bei uns jetzt zum Beispiel überhaupt nicht. Bei uns gibt es ja nur den Ferienspass, wo so einzelne Tage sind. Wenn es die überhaupt noch gibt, ich glaube schon. Ich hoffe es mal. Aber so richtige Ferienlager? Nein. So, was haben wir hier für einen Brief? Dan, I hope you're doing well. I got this address from your father. I hope it's correct. I'll get to the point. When your cousin Richard passed away last year, we discovered that his pipe business had done very well. He wasn't wealthy, but he was very comfortable. At the execution of his will, we were somewhat surprised to find that he wished to distribute his estate among all living blood relatives. He reserved the lion's share for his immediate family, as I'm sure you'll understand, but there was a portion allotted to you as well. Enclosed is a check for the full amount. I trust you will honor his memory by putting it to good use. Uncle Wayne. Wayne! Okay, dann ein bisschen Geld, ich kann ein bisschen länger rumhängen mit Schreiben, das ist kein Problem, das ist dann super. Jetzt haben wir jetzt noch einen nächsten Hinweis. Ah, da unten sieht es ziemlich leer aus. Gehen wir mal rauf. Zap, zap. Genau so fliege ich rum. Wenn du wüsstest, Tommy, dass so ein Geist in diesem Haus ist, der dir überall hinfolgt. Und genauso blöde Geräusche macht wie du. Search the house and memories. Ach, fangen wir an mit den Erinnerungen. Zack! Wo ist der Ton? Da unten. Jawohl.
I already played with it.
What about your rocket?
Die andere Erinnerung ist wahrscheinlich wieder oben in seinem Raum. Nicht? Oh. Dann vielleicht... Da, ha. Da komm. Wieder die gleiche Zeichnung, die wir schon 10-mal gesehen haben. Oh je. Bring my cat to camp, Mommy told me about. Okay, in dem Fall werden wir den Kite sicher auswählen. Jetzt müssen wir aber noch ein paar Hinweise zum Dan finden. Then I looked into it and the guy at the literary register said that pre-release ads do drive up pre-orders quite a bit. It's his job to sell ads, of course, so we have to take that with a grain of salt. I usually leave this kind of thing to the guys in the marketing department, so I'm a little out of my depth here, but I checked with them and they said the same thing. So it seems like the ads would make sense, if the book is good. You don't want to oversell and underdeliver. I have to say, this is the first time I've had a writer offer to pay for extra marketing. You sure about it? There aren't any refunds if the book tanks. You've got some drive though, coming up with an idea like this. I'll give you that. Think about it and let me know. Paul. Okay. Ah, genau, weil er das Geld bekommen hat, kann er auch ein bisschen in Werbung stecken. Keine schlechte Idee. Keine schlechte Ideen. So, mal schauen, ob wir hier noch einen Hinweis finden.
Anne, I'm gonna cut right through the pleasantries and ask you, who is this Ryan that Mom mentioned on the phone? Someone new? Are you trying to keep it a secret, or did it just slip your mind the last time we talked? Spill it! Things here are moving along, I guess. When we came up, I thought it would be great to have more dedicated time to paint, but I didn't realize it would be so isolating. I miss having more people around and having new ideas floating about. I got lucky in town last week, though. I found an artist co-op called Makeshift, and it seems really interesting. It's not too big, but there are lots of different types of artists there. I'll probably call and try to get more details. I don't remember if I told you this, but I've been thinking about going back to painting full time. Anyway, enough about me. Tell me what's up with you. Love, Linda.
Okay, Linda. Scheint so gut zu gehen. Findet ihr einen Weg around ohne uns?
I only met Rick once, at a family reunion that must have been, 15 years ago? Turns out he made his fortune by, get this, selling high-end pipes. The Sherlock Holmes kind, not the plumbing kind. He must have been a hell of an interesting guy. I mean, he found a niche and made his way in the world. You have to respect that. It makes me wonder, am I giving everything I have to this book, or am I leaving myself an out? It isn't announced yet. I could always pull the plug. I'd never get another advance again, sure, but there isn't a gun to my head. Unless I put one there. Metaphorically, of course.
So, was will ich nicht lesen oder hören, Dan? Dan, wo bist du? Bist du gerade oben? Jawohl. Ich habe noch schnell deine Erinnerungen durchforsten.
And when I finish my book in December,
Don't joke like that.
Bla bla bla. Oh, da unten ist er. Nein. Nein, nicht possessed, da, jetzt. Read memory, genau.
Tynan and Kelly left this morning. I wish they could have stayed a little longer, but it was great having them. It felt just like college again. Fishing, having a few beers, talking about how we're going to conquer the world. Working through some issues on his book even gave me an idea for how to fix the logjam in Act 2. Funny how creativity works sometimes. I've got to remember to put him in the acknowledgements.
Sehr gut, für den Dan läuft ja alles. Was wollen wir noch mehr? Also, was willst du? Das ist, glaube ich, das hier, oder? Jawohl. Jetzt müssen wir nur noch den Drachen auswählen für den Tommy und dann haben wir dann alles bravulös geröst. Zap. Wo ist Tommy sein Zimmer? Da hinten. Zack. So, jetzt schnell zum Dan. Whisper, whisper. Dan decided to take some small part of his fate into his own hands and place an ad for his book in the literary register. He knew that by placing the ad, he was putting himself on the line in to deliver a better book. The accountability jolted him, and for the next week he woke up each day with a newfound focus that translated directly to the page. Hey, das sounds sehr gut. And then knew that while he couldn't also pay for Tommy to go to camp, it was important for him to have more playtime with other children his age, so he called up Davy's parents and arranged regular playdates at the playground in town. He tried to make the trip himself as often as possible and it made a difference for Tommy. Yes! Man zwar zu wenig Geld fürs Camp, aber scheißegal, alles geht gut. Linda had resigned herself to the fact that they couldn't afford the cope. But the flash of excitement she got when she heard about the inheritance quickly faded when Dan decided not to use it for the cope's fee. She tried to channel her frustration into her work, but found herself so distracted that she got almost nothing done for days. Tja, so ist ihm Dan auch gegangen am Anfang. Jetzt siehst mal Linda, wie das sich anfühlt. Viel Spaß damit. Catching up. When Tommy continued to struggle with... Nein, Tommy. Tommy! Jetzt schauen wir doch die ganze Zeit zu dir. Mr. and Mrs. Kaplan, I want to stress that it's perfectly normal for some children to fall behind in a specific area. Tommy may be struggling with reading comprehension, but his verbal and visual abilities are excellent. That said, he won't catch up on his own. He will need support from both of you. I recommend that you do the attached exercises with Tommy every weekday morning for 1 to 2 hours. He'll be unable to focus exclusively on this for 2 straight hours, so you'll need to take intermittent breaks, but use your judgment and stay with it as long as you feel he can stay engaged. I suggest that you do your sessions in the morning before he tires himself out and becomes distracted. I feel confident that with a supportive environment and dedicated exercise, he will catch up to the other children in his class. Please be in touch if you have any questions. Dr. Donald Samuels. Ach, Tommy macht gar nicht so einen Eindruck auf mich. Ich meine, er zeichnet viel. Er spielt die ganze Zeit. Hey, es ist echt geile Aussicht, muss ich doch mal sagen. Mit dem Mond, dem Wasser und ein bisschen Grün. Oh, herrlich. Schönes Haus. Und auch noch neue Hinweise. Neue Hinweise. Gib mir neue Hinweise. Sind alle? Ach. Hi Linda, wie läuft's, hä? Scheisse? Tja. Das ist unsere Schuld. Ideas, weekly outing. Where? Tuesday movie night, family dinner, picnic, farmers market, bla bla bla. Family dinner, old fashioned, ich meine, ist doch normal, dass man als Familie zusammen isst, vor allem wenn man noch so ein junges Kind hat. Ist doch nicht old fashioned, nein.
Dan and I had a good conversation today. Well, we'll have to wait and see if it was actually good, but I feel like I got my point across about family time. We've been getting a little frayed on the little things lately, and it reminded me of something Anne said one time. Love is a behavior, not an emotion. If something's important to you, you show it with your actions. We weren't doing so well with that before we got here. I told Dan my idea. I want us all to eat together at 7 every night, with family time after that. Tommy's wiped out by 8:30, so we'd get a solid hour and a half as a family, and then Dan and I could have the rest of the night to ourselves. And I think 7's a reasonable request. The rest of the working world knocks off at 5, right? It doesn't really matter what we do with the time, just that we spend it together. It's easy to make excuses when you've got a lot going on, which is why patterns help. I hope he feels the same way.
Wehe, sie schauen einfach noch Fernsehen zusammen. Wehe. Das Dümmste, was man machen kann. Hey Dan, my man. What's up? Ach komm, du schaffst das. Ich bin auf deiner Seite. Du weißt es. Tommy, ich bin enttäuscht von dir. Ja, du hast vielleicht ein paar Störungen, Tommy. Nur ein bisschen. Das ist doch ein schön... Oh, sie schließen ihn aus. Okay, das ist nicht nett. Tommy. Da musst du einfach durch, Tommy. Da können wir dir nicht helfen. Es wird noch schlimmer, wenn wir dir helfen. Deswegen... Du wirst es überleben. Wirst vielleicht noch ein bisschen komischer, aber hey. Perfect schedule. Single unattached writer's guide. Write, eat, decompress, life. Bla bla. Was ist mit Trinken?
Alan, this letter might come from out of the blue, but do you remember when you told me about Bobby falling behind on reading? Looks like we're there with Tommy. We knew he was struggling when we came up here, but his teacher gave us a list of books for him to work on over the break and said we should see how he responded to the change in environment. She gave us a few sample readings and told us to keep an eye on how he was grasping the concepts. Tommy still isn't there, and long story short, the pediatrician in town knows a specialist who gave us some exercises to try. They seem pretty straightforward, but I wanted to write and see if you had any tips that helped you guys with Bobby. Damn. Just realized I didn't even ask how you've been. I'm sorry. This stuff is just a lot to think about. Dan.
Okay, mit dem schönen Brief beenden wir die Episode. Hoffen wir, dass wir den Tommy in der nächsten Episode irgendwie noch zurechtbiegen können, dass er nicht allzu komisch wird. Auf jeden Fall vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und tschüss zusammen.